Good evening, guys. A lot of great work out here tonight. We really tried to hit as many situations as we can to get them on film. Some great learning experiences, I think, both for the players and the coaches. The execution, I think at times on both sides of the ball, we got to really look at it and make sure we've got the right people in the right spots. We saw some starters mixed in with some role players at times, and I think that can create inconsistency, but I think that's important. And tonight a lot of the work was ones versus twos, which I also think is important because we need to evaluate those twos. And when the second team only gets to play against the second team, it's hard to really tell how they'll do when they play against the starters when the lights are on. So with that, questions?
What about the flip side of that, Kyle? It helps the second team to play against the first team. Do you have to? How much can you ascertain from the first team on both sides playing against the second team?
I think you can ascertain a lot, and you get a good feel for how they execute and how they work together, and we certainly do a lot of ones versus ones in practice, so it's not foreign to us to do that. But I think when coming down in the stadium here, I thought that was the best thing for us. Last year, we didn't do it at all. It was all ones versus twos. This year, we were ones versus ones in the first scrimmage, and then ones versus twos in the second.
How do you think the defense was itching to get back down on the field here at the last one scrimmage to kind of?
I'm anxious to look at it. They were certainly excited tonight. I mean, I think that showed very emotional about our defenses. They don't like to give up any first downs, and that's good. And that's kind of the standards and the expectations that have been set here over time. And I thought they did a good job tonight. I thought they played with a lot of passion.
General public likes to read into these stats, whatever they may be, but is it tough to gauge? I mean, I guess it was hard to get a rhythm tonight for almost anybody, right? Is that fair?
Really is. It really is. And you try to create a game-like atmosphere, and we come in here at night, and we put the lights on, and we got the scoreboard going, and we're fortunate to have the conference officials who did a great job tonight, Tracy Jones and his staff. And even the situations and the moving of the ball and the special teams worked in, we try to create the game-like atmosphere, but the reality is in a game, the offense and the defense feed off each other at times, and that's what you don't get in a scrimmage. So it is really, you can't replicate what a game is, and unfortunately for us, we don't have preseason games either.
Any thoughts on the kicking game just in general? I'm talking about the place, what you saw from the punting and then the kickoffs.
I think I've seen enough from Nick to feel pretty good that he's going to hit the ball consistently for us. We didn't give him a lot of opportunities tonight to do that. I don't think our kickers were very sharp, our place kickers. I don't think Kyle and Nick we're hitting it well tonight, and that's concerning. It's certainly concerning, but we've got a little ways to go here before the first game, and I think we've got to settle on a starter and give him a number of kicks to make sure he's ready to go in that first game.
Kyle, did anybody, I know you got to look at the tape, anybody flash for you tonight?
It's so hard for me because I'm trying to really navigate the scrimmage itself. Aside from the 2-minute drills, I try to stay separated from it so I can make sure everything runs as smoothly as possible. You don't ever take anything for granted. We've got a young man on our team named Brian Verbitsky, who's a walk-on who made a bunch of tackles tonight, and maybe there's a place we need to use him on special teams if we're not doing it. I saw Darius Hamilton at times in the backfield. I saw Marcus Thompson play with a lot of passion. So, but without seeing the film, it is tough to say.
What lines are there? You all right?
We got to evaluate it tomorrow. It's a shoulder, but I don't think it'll be a long-term thing. I think he wanted to come back in, but we're not going to risk that right now until we get a full evaluation.
How much guards?
That's one we're really going to have to evaluate on tape. It's the offensive line is not a position really that you can evaluate with your eyes out here on the field.
How much is Janarian showing you as a punt returner in terms of his consistency and how much you can trust him?
He's been very consistent. He's given me no reason to believe that we can't trust him. And made a play in the passing game today, a big play against our first defense, which was exciting to see that. Those explosive plays are critical in every game, and there might be a couple different ways he can create those and generate those for us.
Alan, as a head coach, are you comfortable with both coordinators on the field? I know you said they're more comfortable. Are you comfortable with that too?
To me, I don't have any preference in terms of where they are. I've worked as an offensive line coach with coordinators on the field, and I've worked with coordinators in the box. And to me, it's just personal preference. Some guys like to call it from the field, some guys like to call it from the box. But both of the ones that we have experience doing what they're doing, so I'm perfectly comfortable with it.
Any advantage that you see being on the field?
I think the advantage to being on the field is that you get a little bit better feel for the players and how they are and how they're doing. And if you have a younger player, being in his head a little bit in terms of making sure that he is in the moment and not getting overwhelmed by the situation. But the coordinators I've worked with that have been in the box have to rely on the assistants on the field to relay that information and handle those situations. But I'm perfectly comfortable with Ron and Dave being on the field. I think that they've both had a lot of success doing it.
How about the running game? It seemed like we saw a lot more of Desmond tonight and less of Justin. Is that just the way it worked out, or did you want to give Desmond a longer look?
We definitely wanted to give Desmond enough, to give him a look. He's been out a little bit, and Justin's been taking some reps in practice. But I think some of those drives, like I said, they're not. We weren't looking for a goal of play numbers. We wanted to get the situations in, and some of those drives were 3 plays, and some of those drives were 8 and 9 plays. And tonight wasn't the night where he may have been in for those.
12 days out, how close do you think this team is to being game ready?
I think we're close.
Yeah.
I think we're close. We've got all the key is getting all the situations in. And now that the players have had a chance to experience all those different game situations, from everything from coming out to tight red zone to the end of the game situations that we did today, now we just have to continue to rep it. And as coaches, we have to really hone in on what the depth chart is going to be so that we're giving the reps to the right players.
How's Jeremy been? What have you seen his progression?
I think Jeremy's been very consistent back there. I feel very comfortable right now between Lorenzo, Jeremy, and TJ Johnson that we've got 3 safeties that we can play. And then as we get into our other personnel groups, I think those guys will take on a little bit bigger role as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.